Hey everyone, Chris here from Signs of Life. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be building a deep space / chill ambient track from scratch. Something deep, slow, and spacious. So I'll be starting with just a blank project, a simple synthesizer, and just a couple effects. No heavy planning, just following the sound and letting the atmosphere take shape. So I'll be walking you through how I approach textures, building movement, space, and flow as we build this track in real time. So if that sounds good to you, please do stay tuned. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's dive in. Okay, so here we are in Ableton Live 12. The goal of today's video is to build a chill ambient track from scratch. I'm using Ableton Live. Feel free to use any other DAW that you like, and I'll be playing an F sharp minor. I think the goal with this video is to focus on simplicity and finding a workflow that works for you. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna start with Pigments, and we're gonna do some atmospheric work before we even begin with our track. And I think that's gonna really serve us well in the long run. All right, so here's Pigments. You guys know it, you guys love it. Normally I start with Serum 2 these days. However, Pigments is a little more friendly on my current CPU setup. So I'm gonna use Pigments, right? And what we'll do is we'll grab a wavetable. I have some wavetables here from the Chromatic 3 sessions. Chromatic 3 is my latest bank for Pigments. Some of these wavetables are really nice for atmospheric material. So I'm gonna grab Chromatic 3 table number 12, and you can use something from the factory library if you like. I'll put it in 2-dimensional view, and I'll adjust my amp envelope down here on the bottom left. So we will use 4.5 seconds of attack, 4.5 seconds of decay, lower down the sustain a little bit and up the release. There we go, to around 5 seconds. And we'll adjust our attack curve and go ahead and play some keys. That sounds good to me. Okay. Now, 2 things that we're gonna do. We're gonna modulate the cutoff knob right here. We're also gonna modulate the wavetable position. So to do that, I'm gonna use a random, all right? And we'll go over to the random tab over here, and we'll switch from Turing to random. And I'll go ahead and change it to unipolar by clicking the polarity, which means it's going in one direction. And the retrig source can be free running, so it's always running. Okay, we'll smooth it all the way out at 100% and up the distance to around 120. That's looking good. And maybe the rate can be 1/1. Okay, now that's good. Now that we can use that on both the position here. I'll go ahead and adjust your amount as necessary. And I'll also drag it onto the cutoff. I'll lower down the cutoff and switch this filter from LP24 to LP12 by clicking the left-hand arrow. And now you can hear that now we have some motion, some movement on that wavetable. That's really nice. We can add some voices of unison here. Maybe lower down the stereo spread. Very nice. I like that. Okay, we're off to a good start here. All right, let's go ahead and go to the utility engine here. We'll turn on the sub oscillator. We'll lower down its amount here. It's going straight to the filter. That sounded good. Adds a little bit more bass into our sound. Okay. Very nice, very nice. All right, we'll also use a granular sample here. So what we're gonna do is turn on the sample engine. And I've got a custom group from Chromatic here. You guys can use your own sample. There's plenty of samples in here. I'm gonna use, let's say the, where is it? It is the Orbital Tone C3. Let's use that. That sounded good. We'll go ahead and double click that. And I'll turn on the granular engine. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna modulate the start position. All right, that's gonna be really important to get the sound that we want. We'll also change the direction to sort of bidirectional, if you will. We'll take the start randomization out, and that's looking good. And now we'll use that same random on the start position. All right, so now it's scanning through our sample, which is good. We like that. We can lower down the density here. It's pretty dense. There we go. Very nice. Okay, that sounded good. We can change it from width to pan and just leave it all the way off. Okay, sometimes that helps to kind of mitigate the phasing here. Okay. And that's good, I'm happy with that. I mean, you can adjust the start position to a little farther back if you want. Whatever you feel like. I mean, all of these are randomization controls on the underside, so It's up to you. You can also change the type of, you know, envelope shape you got here. Some of these are more CPU heavy than others. I'm just gonna leave it on the default one for now. And what I like to do is do some effects work here. So let's go ahead and we'll add a multi-band compressor. Let's go ahead and add a multi-band here. I add multi-band just for a little bit more EQ. Take the mids out. Up the attack and release. There we go. That's cool. Nice. We'll come over to Effects B and we'll add a delay. We'll use the ping pong stock preset. There we go. Up the feedback, up the dry wet. And we're gonna use a couple reverbs, all right? We're gonna use a regular reverb here. This is the stock Pigments reverb. And we'll take the pre-delay out and we'll lower down the stereo width. And now I'm also gonna use an instance of Supermassive here. So let's go ahead and grab Supermassive. Supermassive is a free reverb. It's really great. You guys hear me talking about it on my channel all the time because it's just that good. It works really well on hardware and software. I use it all the time on my modular rig. Okay, so mode, we're gonna switch from Gemini to Libra, and we'll go ahead and up the warp here, up the delay, up the feedback, up the density, and adjust the mix to around 60% and see how that sounds. You can adjust your EQ to taste here. There we go. So now as you can hear, that Pigments pad has a lot more space. We've stacked up these reverbs and the delays here. Supermassive is a delay reverb combo, but once you up the density, it is very much firmly in reverb territory. Now it's still a little bit muddy, okay? So one thing you might wanna do is add an EQ here in the middle here. I'll go ahead and grab one of my EQs. Let's go to the EQs here. We'll have Pro Q4 here. And you can go ahead and just take some of these lows out. There we go. Maybe a sharp dip here. That's nice. Okay. Adjust this to taste. Just to kind of control some of those mids, because pads can be really mid-heavy here. I like that. And of course, adjust your filters to taste over here on the synth. I always recommend using your filters as much as possible before you grab an EQ. So that's a good way to start. All right. And we're off and running here. I mean, you know, with just a couple moves here, a couple adjustments on Pigments, add some Supermassive, do some EQ work, like you get a nice start to your track. And that's really what you're looking for. You're looking for that deep sense of space, and you're also looking to get to the final result as soon as possible, and here we are. All right, cool, let's continue. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we're going to write in some notes here. We could even switch over to arrangement view here. Let's go ahead and do it in arrangement view today. We'll make a 16-bar loop right here. And I'll go ahead and make a new MIDI clip. So I'm going to draw on this section right here. Control-Shift-M, Command-Shift-M on a Mac. And that creates a new MIDI clip. And we'll go ahead and draw some notes in. Let's go ahead and turn on the headphone button. And I'll turn it to 1 bar. I'll go ahead and play those notes I was playing. Minor 7th chord. To the right. Ooh, I like that chord. Very nice. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good right there. Okay, let's go ahead and play that. Very nice. So you can see the cue really does help out there. I mean, that's a really important move. You could even do some more adjusting here if you want. You know, just kind of clean up some of these errant, more stronger harmonics here. But oh my God, Supermassive just sounds so good. I can't wait for version 5.0. I really can't. And our Pigments pad, I mean, we did a lot of work here, moving the wavetable. I try to keep things as simple as possible just to get to the result, like I said, so I can continue on and continue working on my track, all right? So we'll go ahead and rename this as our Pigments pad. Very nice. And we are off and running. All right, so now that we've got our pad established, it's time to start working on some drums. So what I'll do is I'll grab some kick drums here. I've got some kick drums in a rack that I use quite regularly. They're called deep kicks. And these are from the Triads collection. You can feel free to use any other kick drum samples that you do have. And what I like to do is just work in a smaller time frame. So I'll adjust the loop marker to 2 bars, and I'll go ahead and drag a new MIDI clip here over 2 bars, and we'll go ahead and lay in some kicks. Now what I can do is use Ableton's rhythm MIDI generator here. You can select the sample that you want. We'll select this electric snap socket. And with it all selected, it's gonna give me some kick drums here if I just rotate through the pattern selection. And that one looks good. We're gonna adjust this a little later, all right? So you can go ahead and listen to this. It sounds kind of repetitive, but we're gonna adjust that in just a second, okay? Let's go ahead and grab some snares as well. So I'll grab some snares and put it right below. Now with the snares, it's really easy to do. All you do is just go ahead and lay in a 1 bar MIDI clip. Doesn't need to be 2 bars. It can be if you want to. And we'll go ahead and lay it on the 1-2 and the 1-4, okay? And what I like to do here is I like to just watch it go by and pick out the snare that I'm actually using here, okay? And we're gonna switch it from 1 shot to classic mode. I think classic mode works really well for this application. Lower down the sustain, all right? You get a nice little punchy snare there, and then you can up the controls and up the transposition here. All right? And now you can go ahead and double that up, and now we have a nice snare going all the way across. Now here's what I like to do. This is a personal preference. You guys can work in whatever way you do like. With them both selected, you can see that now we have both the snare and the kick drum visible here on our screen, all right? So what I can do is I can touch these little lines above it, the red line and the purple line, and it selects and allows me to draw on either one. So obviously I wanna draw on the kick drums here because I wanna adjust them so they sort of fit in line with the snares, okay? They sound kind of repetitive right now. That's much better, right? So I took out some of these, and now it sounds like it's got some groove to it. I like that. So I'll rename this kick, rename this one snare. Okay. And now I'll lay in some glitch percussion, all right? I've got a full rack here of like hats that I like to use, and I like to do the same process, which is just kind of spraying some notes over and then adjust it later. So what I'll do here is I'll come in, just kind of lay in some notes here. Doesn't have to be that serious. Again, you can use any other samples that you like here. I'll hit Control-1, make some more ratchets. Very nice, very nice. Control-2 here, we'll go Control-2 one more time. And lay in a little faster. There we go. That sounded good, like that. Again, Control-1 and 2, zooms in and out. The grid division. Oh yeah. So without even any plugins, I mean, it already sounds like good glitch percussion. I like that. Okay, cool. What we can do here is, if you're using Ableton, you can use an auto pan plugin. That always works really well. You can also use the microfills preset here. That also works well. Up the decay here a little bit. Oh yeah, very nice. All right, cool. We'll rename this glitch. And now it's time for a bass. All right, so we can stretch this out, kind of zoom out a little bit. Let's extend this all the way out here. All right, and we are off and running. All right, I like this. Let's use Pigments again for our bass sound. We're gonna go with a Pigments heavy episode here today. And for the bass, I really want it to be chill, right? I want a chill bass. I want something that's really gonna kind of set it off, right? So we'll add some voices of unison here, up the detune, lower down the stereo spread, but then lower down the cutoff. We're gonna leave it on 24, okay? And we'll see what this sounds like. Let's go ahead and hit the record button. Oh yeah. Very nice. Now the key here is kind of mitigating the effect of the unison. Like you don't want a phase bass. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, that's good. All right, all right. Oh, there it is. Oh, I just nailed it right there. Okay, so what I did is I played what I wanted to, and if you're using Ableton Live, you have this recall button right here. I can just do it on my push here. So Control New, and hopefully that last bass line that I just played came in. Let's see if that worked. Oh my God, it did. Nice, nice. All right, let's go ahead and select this entire thing. That's good. We'll actually crop the clip from there to there. Perfect. We'll select the right note division. Let's go 1/8 notes here. That's looking good. We'll select all of them. We'll hit select all, and we'll go ahead and use the quantize MIDI transformer here and make sure the start and end is selected here. Perfect. Oh yeah. Excellent. Yes, there we go. There we go. Make sure this is a loop. There we go. Drag it over to 4-bar loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah. Very nice. Now we can make some adjustments to our bass. We kind of fast forwarded through this entire section. There we go. We'll use an LFO here. Let's put it in free running mode. So we'll put the retrig source to free running. The polarity can be, you know, unipolar if you want, and we'll select straight only. 4/1, drag LFO1 over to the cutoff here. Oh yeah, sounds incredible. Love it, love it, love it. We'll take the delay out, the reverb out, and we'll add a multi-band compressor. Oh, that sounds gorgeous. Wow, I love it. We'll add a reverb here. Maybe we'll add even some, we can add even some distortion for a little bit of warmth here. We'll go with like stairs. Let's go with stairs. Oh yeah, lower down the dry wet. And maybe use a random, we'll use a random on the drive itself. Smooth it out, retrig source is free running, polarity is unipolar. Just to get you guys used to this whole workflow here. Again, keeping things simple, not trying to overcomplicate it, right? And finally a reverb, just a little extra touch of reverb. Decay up, size up, relay down, stereo width down, dry wet low. There we go, perfect. Nice, okay. So now that we have our bass in and our percussion in, I mean, the track feels alive, right? But what can you hear? This is a concept that I used to talk about on my videos a lot, which is the concept of tone chasing, right? And tone chasing to me is basically thinking about the sound before you hear it, and then trying to recreate that sound with whatever tools that you have, all right? So I don't just mean like, oh, you know, if you think it, you can dream it, whatever. It's literally kind of trying to musically understand what the sound is before you get there, all right? And what I hear is a nice sequence. And I'm hearing something that kind of stops and starts, but has a nice timbre to it that I think we can go for. So in the next section, we're gonna really work on the sequence and tie this entire track together. Okay, now that our track is fully established, it's time to add a sequence. So for that, I'm gonna use Serum 2, and I'm gonna show you a cool way that you can kind of add like a sequence inside of a sequence with Serum 2. I'll show you what I mean, all right? So let's go ahead and grab Serum 2 here, and I'll go ahead and drop it on my track. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on oscillator B, and I'm actually gonna show you how to tune this, not to semitones, but to harmonics, all right? First step though, we're gonna turn oscillator A into a sine wave just by moving the wavetable position over a little bit. Now we have a sine wave and a sawtooth, and we'll also put those both through filter 1 by clicking on A and B right here, and we'll make it a 24 low pass filter. Okay, so like I said, if you right click on the semitones here, you can go to the mode and switch it from semitones to harmonics. You also have ratio tuning, which we're gonna get into in another video. So we're just gonna use harmonics here, okay? And then we're gonna use a random sample and hold to kind of move through the harmonics, all right? Here's how to do this. So what we're gonna do is we'll come over to LFO1 and we'll switch it from normal to sample and hold. And the speed can be like, around 1/2. It doesn't have to be anything special, but slow enough so it's gonna retrigger every time. We'll switch the mode to retrigger. And then we can drag LFO1 over to the harmonic tuning right here. And as you can see, it comes in as bipolar. Now what you can do is you can shift alt click this. I think that's shift option on a Mac, and lower it down. Or you come over to the matrix and switch the polarity from bipolar to unipolar. That's the whole point, right? We want to make sure that it doesn't go into negative polarity here. And then we'll lower down the amount. So it's like the range is about 1 to 8. Okay, that's good. Cool. So let's go ahead and lower our sustain here. That's looking good. We'll lower down the decay. Some final touches here. We'll go ahead and add a second envelope here. That's good. Lower down the decay, and we'll drag that over to the cutoff filter. Okay. Again, shift alt or shift option click makes it unipolar. There you go. And we'll add a second LFO, and we'll make this one a free running 4-bar LFO. We'll drag that over to the cutoff. There we go, just like this. And we'll put velocity sensitivity onto the cutoff filter. So now it should sound something like this. Okay, cool. That sounds really good. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some effects, and we're also going to add a healthy dose of stepping. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'll add some effects here. Let's go ahead and add my ping pong dotted eighth note dual delay here, and we'll go ahead and add some reverb. Oh my gosh, that sounds really good already, okay. And now let's go ahead and add Stepic. We'll turn off Serum 2 for now. Let's go ahead and add Stepic here. I'm getting close to the finish here. I'm getting excited, you're getting excited. So what we'll do is let's go F sharp number 3. We'll switch it to natural minor, lower down the steps to 8 steps, and we'll go 8th notes. And we'll add a couple notes here. Let's go with a couple Bs, and we'll go with a C sharp. There we go. And we'll randomize the octaves. And finally, we will randomize the velocity and switch to purple dice. You guys have seen me do this a bunch of times before. And there you go. And that's our sequence. Okay, now let's go ahead, hit play, listen to it with the rest of the track. This should be really good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. Very good. So you can hear that the sample and hold work that we did on the harmonics almost adds like a secondary sequence inside of our initial sequence. There's a lot of brightness in there, and that's just absolutely gorgeous with the pinging of the filter. Oh, and the velocity. Oh, that's absolutely stunning. I love it. I love it. All right. So, oh, it sounds so good. Now, I mean, another final touch you could do, instead of just having a straight sine wave over here, go ahead and do some phase distortion number B. Okay, this is really good. Phase distortion from B, right? So we'll go ahead and use the same sample hold on the warp here. Now we get a little grit. Oh yeah. Nice. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's 1,000 things you can do from here, but I mean, this is a good start, right? Serum 2 is so powerful. It is so powerful. Oh my goodness. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I certainly did. You know, doing music like this is my passion. I do this day in and day out, and to be able to come on here and to show you guys and inspire you in ways, maybe if you don't have the same tools that I do, or you're just watching me work, just to see what's possible and what's out there. That's really the reason why I do this. So again, thank you for watching. If you want more videos like this, I am on Patreon. I do videos like this every single week. I do a 3-part series every single month. I got tons of presets on there. I do ambient coaching, one-on-one. So feel free to reach out. Link is down below in the description. And yeah, I'll be back again soon with more videos like this. In the meantime, take good care, you guys. And as always, keep your heads in the clouds and your feet planted firmly on the ground. I'm Chris from Signs of Life. I'll see you guys in the next video.